Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome back to another series of the American Sim Racing Sportsman series. Tonight, we started off at the place, Daytona International Raceway, for tonight's season opener. Tonight, we have 18 cars on the premise ready to do battle for 60 laps. Don't go anywhere, folks, because this is going to be one of the fastest tracks on the schedule here at the Daytona International Speedway. Tonight we'll see some pack racing, but no bump drafting, as these ARCA cars do not line up well on these bumpers. So we'll see cars kind of just use the air to push on around them. As we get ready to click over to qualifying here, we'll see who can be eligible for tonight's pole position, sponsored by Horsepower Happening, as well as, of course, there is a shotgun rule this season, so we have the eligibility for race number 1, which is tonight, to have someone elect that and start at the back and try and get a bonus 10 points. If I'm that person, it's the first race of the season. I don't see why you wouldn't be willing to do it. In my book, I would be all for that. So we'll have to see who can get the pole here at Daytona, as we got cars getting up to speed. We'll look at the 28 machine of Kyle Munson, Season 1 Blue Division champion. We'll see him get, as he gets the bank in there, folks, and get a little bit loose. So we will go maybe try a different driver. We have Jerry Cochran Jr. getting up to speed, so maybe we'll check out the 82 machine. He goes fast here in practice. We'll see what he can do here in qualifying. As we see the 82 machine get up to speed, this first lap, folks, will be most likely ran right against the wall. Try and get that speed up as much as possible for this second lap. So we'll have to see what the game plan is, if he does that, or maybe he goes for it on the first lap. Only time will tell, as the 82 machine of Jerry Cochran passes the start-finish line and is on the clock for his first time lap. These lap times here, when these cars are by themselves, are right around the high 40, low 50-second range. So we'll have to see who can come out on top. As of course, as you can tell, folks, with this new Sportsman series season, we got new cars as well. We're rocking the ARCA Menards cars on the iRacing, or the kind of the 4th gen NASCAR style looking cars. So these cars a little bit different handling, a little bit different tires, as these are general tires on these cars. So we'll have to see how that affects these drivers and who can adapt quickly and who will be in victory lane. Last season we saw Richard Pruitt in victory lane in the 24 machine. We'll see if we can get another first time winner here. As we get some lap times starting to show up on the left side of our screen, we'll see who will slot in where. As right now, Nathan Henry looks to be at the top of the board with a 50.12. We'll see if anyone can get in the 49-second and the 40-second ranges. As Jerry Cochran heads through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, we'll see if he jumps down low, as John Sanu goes to the top. Now John Kane to the top of the board. Jerry Cochran Jr. will go P number 1. He'll go to the top with a 49.66. We'll see who, if anyone, can top him here as we get some more cars going up to speed. One of them being the 90 of Michael Sturgill. This guy knows how to super speedway race. Won a $5,000 check here at Daytona, of course in a different race, but this guy knows how to get it done when the moment counts. As we'll have to see where he can slot on in as he looks to complete his first time lap. Mike will go P number 11 that first lap, just getting that thing up to speed. This will be the money lap. We'll see where he can slot on in. Right now looking pretty good from this 90 machine. as the 90 machine heads through turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in qualifying, trying to be as smooth on the wheel as he can. He does jump down below the apron. We'll see if iRacing allows this lap as he hits the start-finish line. And it does, but it's not faster. Mike Sturgill will only go P8 as they sit. And it looks like most people that wanted to qualify have qualified as the time runs on out. It looks like the 82 machine of Jerry Cochran Jr. will be our pole sitter here tonight, and he'll be eligible for the shotgun challenge. We'll have to see if he takes it. As we wait for cars to start gridding for tonight's race. As we get ready for tonight's race. We'll get through tonight's starting order. As Jerry Cochran is planning on doing the shotgun bonus. That means he'll drop to the back. But he was tonight's provisional pole winner in that 82 machine. Starting to his outside is the 59 of Nathan Henry. Making up row number 2 is John Kane in the 29 with Tyler Jordan in the 92. Row number 3 will be David Payton in the 38 with John DeMeester in the Blue Deuce in 6th. 7th will go to Devin McDonald in the 18th. 8th will go to John Sinu in the 86th last division winner. 9th will be Michael Sturgill in the 90 machine. Rounding out the top 10 will be Jerry Cochran the 3rd. Brett Edwards will start 11th in the 53. Hayden Swank will start 12th in the 35 machine. 13th will be Lee Campbell in the 27. 14th will be Tanner Tallarico in the 1. Brian Wilderson in the 951 will start 15th. 16th goes to Kyle Munson in the 28 machine. Josiah Millen in the 40 will start 17th. 18th will go to Danny Venezuela in the 04. And rounding out our field tonight in the 41 machine will be Kyle Leisure. So with that shotgun driver, the 29 machine of John Kane will be leading us to green flag here. Alrighty, we get ready to go green flag racing here, folks. We get them all sorted out. The pace car is in, and we'll wait on the 29 machine to kick off season number 3 for the American Sim Racing Sportsman Series. And we are green flag racing here at Daytona. Season 3 is underway. As I bet most the field will probably single file out here sooner than later just to try and get everything sorted out, get their ducks in a line, and make sure that they don't have their race end any earlier than they have to. As right now, kind of a drag race down the backstretch with 29 machine being pushed by Dave Payton, the 59 being pushed by the 92 of Tyler Jordan. So that makes up the front row, being John Kane down low, Nathan Henry up top. As we see already, the outside lane kind of falling apart here. They are only 4 cars strong, where the inside's at least 6, and it seems like everyone kind of soaring file, pulling chutes, and making sure that they get where they want to be sooner than later. It looks like right around Hayden Swank in that 35 AC Delco machine makes up group number 2 so far. He's kind of leading that second group, not really want to get too close to the pack. Also, cool fact about Hayden Swank and that paint scheme, he actually threw that on a super late model. So pretty cool stuff out of the Hayden Swank camp there. As we did have one guy miss the start, that would be Brett Edwards out here by his lonesome outside of the draft. So he's just hoping for a yellow and not to go too many laps down. As we go up front, Nathan Henry had an advantage at the start-finish line. We'll see if he can clear the 29 going down this backstretch, because that outside is pushing a little bit more aggressively than that inside line. We'll have to see if Nathan Henry slots on down or stays to that top line, as he's just quite not clear of John Kane going into turn number 3. As they come out of turn number 4, we are looking to complete lap number 3 here in the books. We have 60 laps in total to go, as some cars getting very close to each other in that trival. That 18 machine of Devin McDonald, I don't think, had about 3 inches to the 81 of Jerry Cochran the third there. We have to keep an eye on that, because that 18 of Devin, he has a very tough time, folks. He can't see anything out of that front windshield, as he's looking at the back tailgate of that 38 Pinkerton machine. So he's just reacting to the cars in front of him, so his reaction times are delayed a little bit. So those outside line guys got to be a little bit careful on cutting it too low and trying to side draft those inside drivers, especially through the corner. As we see one driver pull and shoots, that would be the 86 machine, the Luke Transport of John Sanu, last season's Blue Division champion. He says, it's getting a little too crazy up front. Let me go. Drop to the back, as John Kane is now pulled out in front, clearly by a whole car length over that top line. I bet the 92 machine of Tyler Jordan probably getting a little bit hot there, not able to push as aggressively as he would like to try and clear Nathan Henry and try and get himself to leading that outside lane. But it's going to be a tall order, as now that outside lane, only 3 cars here, as everyone else has gotten single file. As I mentioned pre-race, folks, I'll keep on bringing it up because it is so important here. You cannot touch bumpers with the car in front of you with the draft, and absolutely no bump drafting with these cars with how the bumpers line up. Those rounded noses of these cars with them being so low and the back bumpers being so high and flat of the car in front of you, that's just going to lift up the rear end of the car in front of you, turn them around, cause the big one. So we'll see no bump drafting tonight. If we do, I'll be very impressed if they can somehow make it work. But my guess is we won't see any of it tonight. We'll just see the drivers kind of trying to pack as much air as they can between the 2 cars and try and push them that way. As a little bit of a complaint I'm hearing over the radio from the 38 Pinkerton machine, he's saying he's having some trouble getting some feeling in his fingertips. You know, he's got to stop gripping that wheel so hard, kind of relax up there, and maybe try, as we get one car sideways in front of him, that's Nathan Henry. He's trying to hang on to it. He does so, but they wreck up top. And this will be the first yellow as cars continue to pile on in. And somehow we stay green till now. We got the yellow out as they are still crashing around here as the first big one of the night has struck here early. Inside of the first 10 laps, we'll have to take a look and see what happened to bring it out. We saw where it started, but a lot of cars have been involved as we'll go back to the replay and see what happened as they are already wrecking here. We'll have to keep on going even further back. As they are already wrecking here, folks. We kind of came in a little bit late on the replay here. We might have pulled a fox here and missed the actual wreck as we go a little bit further. So Nathan Henry already kind of loose down low, and we'll take a look, see what happened there as we look at the 951 of Brian Wildison getting bounced around there. The 04 machine of Danny just squeaking by, but the 41 not so lucky of Kyle Leisure as the rest of the field tries to get on by. Luckily, most of the rest of the field did squeeze on by. It looks like the 81 machine of Jerry Cochran III. A little bit of front end damage, but some heavy damage to the likes of Brian Wildison, who's still on pit road. And we'll see a lot of drivers come down pit road here, get some fresh tires as well, fill it up with some fuel, as tonight only 60% fuel allowed in these race cars. So these drivers will have to keep that in the back of their mind. So we are under the first yellow flag here. It started at the front, folks, but luckily I think it only really affected 3 cars or so, so that could have been a lot worse for these drivers here with a wreck coming right at the start. A heck of a save done by Nathan Henry to keep that thing mostly straight for that time in that 59 Wheeling machine. As the 59 machine of Nate Henry is taking claim for that yellow. He thought a little bit of miscommunication, so some Nate doing the courteous thing, tapping on the roof. He says that was my fault, probably didn't make that move the way he wanted to, so he's going to drop to the back and see where he can end up by it. So that will make the front row John Kane in the 29 machine with Dave Payne in the 38 to his outside. Alrighty, Jerry Cochran Jr. already up to 4th place. He was tonight's pole sitter, but elected to take the shotgun challenge and drop to the back. So we will have to see if he can get the job done by the end of the race, but already up to 4th place here in the first handful of laps. So that's already a good sign from that 82 camp. Alrighty, the iRacing pace car is down pit road. We'll wait for now the 29 machine to jump on the loud pedal. He does so. Lee Campbell kind of a little bit snoozing on that start. That'll allow Dave Payne to slot on in here. As it looks like we got a big one down the front stretch. Holy smokes, everyone. This is the whole field. This is the ARCA wreck of the century. And I don't know if there's too many clean cars after that. We will have to see. My guess is someone missed a shift, but we'll have to run it back and see what happened as we look from the top of the stands here. And we'll keep an eye kind of mid-pack, see what happened as we see the 29 machine jump on the loud pedal. But we'll look a little bit further. It looks like the 82 machine and Mike Sturgill making some contact, heavy contact for the 40 who hits the outside wall. Somehow Hayden Swank makes his way through that without getting too much damage. As Kyle Munson gets involved as well. We'll watch it back one more time, maybe from TV number or different camera angle. As that put a good amount of damage to most of the field here with this wreck right at the restart. But we'll watch it start with the 82. We'll keep an eye on that outside lane, and that's where this wreck starts. And we see Josiah Millen, make some hard contact with the outside wall in the 40. Somehow Hayden Swank makes it through. John DeMeester involved, John Sanu. I think the list is a lot shorter of cars not involved than to say all the cars that were involved. Because, folks, that was another big one. As we'll go throw to commercial. We'll be back on the other side. As we come back to Daytona International Speedway, we got the field catching the pace car here and getting ready to go back racing here. But a lot of cars down pit road with some damage. Our shotgun driver, a tough break for him there with that. Also, Mike Sturgill. Hopefully he can get back out there as well. As we see a lot of cars down pit road, this time being led by Hayden Swank, but with most of the field coming down to see how much damage their cars has, how much time they have to repair it, because I don't think there's too many cars with some stray panels on these cars here on lap number 15 of 60 here for the season opener at Daytona. as we get this thing sorted out, I think we'll be going green next time by. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We're getting this rolling here again. As we will go to another commercial break, and we'll be back on the other side.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here once again. The lights are extinguished on the iRacing pace car. That means we'll be going green next time by as these guys get a double filed back up. And they get ready to go back green flag racing. A lot of these cars going to be a little bit unpredictable with their newly found damage with that last big one at the start. We saw a lot of cars get some front end and rear end damage. One car that just snuck on by, the 35 machine of Hayden Swank, also Tanner Tallarico, inside the top 10 now, all the way up to 6 with his wreck avoidance there, just slamming on the brakes, knowing that that was going to be a big one there. So the front row, once again, looking the same as last time. John Kane in the 29 machine will restart on the pole here, and Dave Payne will bring the outside line to green flag. As the lights do come back on the pace car, so we will wait one more lap here, folks. And with that, we'll take a look one more time at that last wreck that brought out the yellow. But this time we'll ride on board with Hayden Swank and see what he had to see and see what he did to avoid this wreck. As we'll get one more. As you see the wreck happening in front of him, he sees the 40 head up top. He heads down low and just squeaks on by there, folks. And he makes it through clean and green, but that cannot be said for a lot of those drivers. As it looks like we got everyone sorted on out for the most part and getting ready to go back green flag racing here. As be sure, if you're tuning in at home, let us know what's your favorite paint scheme, what driver you're rooting for out here, and we'll be sure to get them on screen for a little bit of on-air time. But a lot of bright cars out here tonight. Those, I won't say even top 4 outside line cars, you know, all looking pretty sporty, pretty bright. So all those cars, I think, have my vote. Also that 41 machine, also another pretty sweet paint scheme there. The old school Taco Bell. As we go look back up towards the front of the field, we'll wait for the iRacing pace car to head down pit road. Then we'll wait on the 29 of John Kane to fire us off and bring us back to green flag racing here at Daytona. The 29 machine jumps on the loud pedal here. We are back racing. Dave Payne will probably get back on the inside line behind the 29 as Hayden Swank will try and get that outside line rolling. Dave Payne sticking to the outside, so now John Kane will wait for the push from the 14, but Hayden Swank already keeping the momentum. We'll see how well he pushes Dave Payne down this backstretch here. As we see some cars weaving further on back, seeing how their cars handle with that newly found damage from that last yellow. As the front row still being made up of the same two drivers, John Kane down low in that 29 machine, Dave Payne in the 38 up top. As the field comes roaring through this triangle, they complete lap number 20 of 60 here tonight. As I think these front two still have not pitted at all, so we'll have to see how long they can make it last and if they lose any time, because I think most of the pack behind them at least has pitted once for fuel in these last two yellows, so we'll have to see how that works on out. As further back we see John DeMeester kind of pulling shoots, doesn't want to be involved in this next yellow if there is one. Dave Payne does clear and he'll jump to that inside line, so Dave Payne will be the race leader out front. Now Hayden Swank will try his magic up top. He'll have Tanner Tallarico pushing him. As Hayden Swank is already door to door and already in front of Dave Payne, so this outside line proven to be pretty fast, especially with some big runs coming out of these corners. In the corners, you know, those shortest distance wins, so gives an advantage to those inside line drivers, but this outside line has been carrying some incredible speed off these corners and down these straightaways. As they run, folks, we have 17 cars still out there on track. Everyone from Hayden Swank all the way down to Jerry Cochran Jr. 82 machine kind of hanging out to the back. He looks halfway decent with damage, as he is the eligible driver for the shotgun bonus. We'll keep an eye on him, but right now hanging out in the back as they are side by side for about 4 or 5 rows deep here at the front. As a little bit of movement down this backstretch with the likes of John Kane and Lee Campbell. Up the middle, Devin McDonald trying to make some magic happen. He's trying to go up the middle. A little bit of contact from him and Lee Campbell. They somehow keep it straight and keep it rolling, as Lee Campbell definitely backed out of the throttle there. So we'll have to see how that breaks up this pack. But the top 7, I want to say, very tight to each other, as Devin McDonald still looking up that middle. He's trying to go to the front here. Down the backstretch they go. Dave Payne still leading that inside line. Hayden Swank up top almost gets into that wall and almost drives the rest of the top line into that wall. There wasn't between a few inches with the outside wall and those cars, as Hayden Swank trying to use up as much track as possible. I think that might not be the total correct call, but at this time, you know, you can afford to, you'd rather be safer than sorry, as you never know how far those inside line cars are going to drift up at any time. As we definitely got 2 distinct packs forming here. We got about the top 10 right now together, and then from 11th on back, it looks like Lee Campbell pulling shoots here. Kyle Leisure in the 41 machine, and then bringing up pack number 2 is Jerry Cochran Jr. But we look back at this top 10 here, still side by side all the way through 5 rows deep. as almost some contact in the tri-oval with Nathan Henry and whoever was to his outside. I think the 40 machine almost touched through that tri-oval. As once again we get some 3 wide racing action now. Nathan Henry jumps to the inside of Devin McDonald's contact here. The 40 machine of Josiah Millen gets sideways, but somehow they all save it, and we get a yellow flag there with that sideways. But wow, that was a heck of a save from the 40 machine, as it looks like we might not have it on replay, folks. As with this yellow, we'll run through a little bit of race info for here tonight at Daytona. Of course, this is race number 1 of season 3 for these drivers. Of course, we're new changes to be had, so we're in the ARCA cars here tonight. Like I said, a little bit different car, a little bit different tire, and a whole lot of different driving strategies. So we'll have to see how these drivers adapt to these new cars this season. Also, we got to thank our sponsors here at American Sim Racing Club that lets us put on this great racing and let us enjoy ourselves. Of course, the great folks at race1.us. If you're looking for some killer graphics, really have your car stand out in real life, be sure to check them out. Also, be sure to check out Horsepower Happenings, as everything horsepower is talked about there in the Midwest racing scene. And of course, we got to thank QuickTime Motorsports Media for all the great graphics, as well as some great looking cars out there on track in the virtual world. Also, if you're looking to apply, maybe join some racing action, check out AmericanSimRacingClub.com, and you could be out there with these boys. We're still looking for some more drivers, so be sure to apply and come out and join us for some fun as we see everyone in the field down pit road except for the 18 machine of Devin McDonald. He stays on out there, whereas the rest of the field is in. Looks like Hayden Swank beats Dave Payne off of pit road. Tanner Tallarico comes out third. Mike Sturgill fourth. And Dave Payne from the lead will come out in P number 5. So we saw Devin McDonald making some moves, trying to get to the front as quickly as he can. He stays out on a strategy call and will be the race leader. We'll have to see how he can defend up front in this 18 machine. And folks, if you're looking for a driver that you need the sponsorship, look no further. This 18 machine looking pretty bare bones out there, so he's looking for some sponsorship, looking for some graphics, trying it definitely makes you faster out here, especially on these super speedways. So and then, folks, we got still some strategy to be had. Mike Sturgill comes down pit road again from the 4th place, really trying to top off his car, trying to make the fuel go to the end, because right now they got to save a lot of fuel to try and make it to the end, but it can be done. So I like the call from the 90 machine. As the lights are extinguished on the iRace and pace car, that means we'll be going green next time by. We'll have Devin McDonald in the 18 machine taking us to green flag. Down low up top will be Hayden Swank in the 35 machine. Row number 2 will be made up of Tanner Tallarico in the 1 and Dave Payne in the 38. And then the man that missed the start rebounded nicely. That would be Brett Edwards in the 52 or 53 in the time and scoring. He will restart in the 5th position. As the iRacing pace car makes its way down pit road, we'll now wait for the 18 machine of Devin McDonald to fire us off and bring us back to green flag racing. As he jumps on the loud pedal here, a pretty good restart from the inside lane and the outside lane, maybe even a little bit better, so we'll have to see how this goes. As Devin McDonald looking to block that high side, but that might leave the open door down low, 3 wide at the front. They are going for his Hayden Swank, kind of backing out of it. It's definitely too early for this, and I agree with Hayden, as I don't know what is. We finally get it sorted out. I think Devin McDonald really wanted that outside lane, and he definitely made it happen there, as now he looks like he clears the one of Tanner Tallarico going down this backstretch. And we see the 18 machine slide on down low in front of the one of Tanner. The question is, does Devin stay down low or go up top, as outside line much more formed up right now than that bottom. As he will commit with the 1 car, and Hayden Swank will be able to clear him and take the lead. As Dave Payne jumps down low in front of the 18, Hayden Swank stays up top here. As we see some of these cars dancing down this backstretch still, as these tires getting up to temp here. As we saw everyone come down pit road that last yellow, so everyone on the same strategy at the moment. As we see Tanner Tallarico jump out of line to that top side. Dave Payne being pushed by the 18. The question is, does Hayden Swank go up top or does he stay down low? It looks like he'll stay down low. That will leave Tanner Tallarico up there on his own. But that time by at the start finish line, folks, we saw cross flags halfway down, halfway home in the season opener here at Daytona. Going down this backstretch, all these drivers kind of hanging on out for the most part, but taking a lot of mental notes, seeing which cars are stable, seeing which cars are fast, seeing which cars they want to work with later in this race, because that will be the question. Who will you want to work with in these last couple laps? Because everything up until about 5 laps to go, you know, you can try out stuff or do whatever, but those last 5 laps are the most important laps to a super speedway race. And kind of Captain Obvious moment, you know, the last 5 laps are very important to any race, but here at super speedways it matters even more, because the laps before really don't matter that much compared to those last 5. As we see Devin McDonald take over the lead of this race in that top line, the question is, does he slot down in front of Dave Payne? He does not. He stays to the top side. Dave Payne gets a nice run through the bottom of 3 and 4 here. At the start finish line, it looks like advantage goes to Devin McDonald just by a nose there, so that outside line still keeping the momentum, and they're still 5 cars strong up top, 4 cars down low. As I believe, especially with this pace they're having right now, folks, I think we'll see the whole field at least come down pit road one more time. The question is, will it be under green flag, or will we have another big one, let's say, and have them come down then? As the top 10 kind of running in their own pack still. Once again, Michael Sturgill kind of the man on the bubble, just getting the draft from that cars in front, but he can't fall back too much more. But pack number 2 being made up of John Sanu and everyone behind him as they run. As this is the pack number 2, the guys kind of riding on around knowing that there is a big one coming, but don't want to be involved in it when it does strike. Up front, still no changes here. Dave Payne in the 38 down low. Devin McDonald in the 18 up top. And with the limited visibility, we'll go ride on board with Brett Edwards just to see what he's seeing in these corners. And you can hear him, folks, playing with that throttle, making sure he doesn't make contact with the car in front of him. But he has to lift, hit the brakes, you know, all sorts of little adjustments as they continue to run. We'll get a view of the driver cam, so a little bit what the driver is seeing is, of course, this is a wide angle. You know, you don't see as much as this from that driver's seat. As you can see, just pushing that air to the car in front of you, getting up close, but not too close where they make contact. As you see him even sawing on the wheel. Like I said, folks, everything by Brett Edwards here, who we're riding along with, is reaction to what he's seeing out of his windshield. That outside lane, folks, kind of dying on off. Only 4 cars up there with the rest of the field single filed out down low. And of course, we are in the back half of this race, folks. This time by at the start-finish line will be 23 laps to go left in this race. As we have 1 car down low. It looks like the 90 of Michael Sturgill coming in on pit road. Very hot, right front locked up the whole time. Did he whoa it down enough, folks, to miss that speeding penalty? That was right on the edge. We will have to see with how long this pit stop takes. But the 90 machine in very early, sadly, by his lonesome. So that's not going to work out too well for Michael Sturgill. As he is back out on track already. So looks like a fairly quick stop from the 90 machine. We'll have to keep an eye where he cycles on out. And we'll have to keep an eye, see who ends up pitting here anytime soon. As Devin McDonald gets a nice push from Tanner Tallarico, will lead that lap by. As now the outside line kind of falling to 3, maybe 4 cars with the 40 machine driving on up there. As it looks like we're catching a lap car. That would be the 04 machine of Danny Venezuela. We'll have to see how this field gets on by here as they'll catch him. Looks like right in the tri-oval. So we'll have to see how this field can do it. As it looks like everyone makes it on by safely from that first pack and does so. So nice job by these drivers. every time you hit a lapper and these super speedways, you know, it's always a little bit of breath holding moment. As further back, we got the John and John show here hanging out with each other. We got John Sanu and John DeMeester. These guys looking for a solid start to this season. As that time by, folks, we have 20 laps to go here. And we still have right around 9 cars in this first pack. Drivers still hanging on. Still not the time to really, you know, go all gung-ho, as there's still a lot of racing to be had here. And of course, another pit stop for these drivers. The only driver that is good on fuel would be the 90 of Michael Sturgill. As this time by, folks, I'll take a break from talking. I'll let the cars do the talking here, and we'll do some turn 3, turn it up. I'll be back on the other side. As we go back to live here, folks, as you saw it with the turn it up, we got a yellow flag here. I don't know how they didn't wreck till then, folks, because that was a wild one. We'll take a look and see what happened, but it looks like it involved the 29 machine of John Kane, same with the 90 of Michael Sturgill. These guys are already sideways by there, but man, I don't know how that field kept it straight for that long, because there was cars sideways all over the track from turns 3 and 4 all the way to turn number 1. As we'll go and take a look, see if we can catch what happened, as they are already sideways there. As looks like we won't have the start of the caution, sadly, folks, but this throws a wrench in everything, as Sturgill was slated to be the lucky dog, but since he was involved in it, he probably won't get it. And this will probably let everyone make it to the end on fuel with this pit stop, as this is the fourth caution of the night. as we see the field coming down pit road here, and we'll get everyone for their final scheduled stops of the night to at least fill up with fuel. But they could always come in a little bit later for some tires, as we see the field get down there. Tanner Tallarico big time sideways into his box, but stops right on a dime. We'll keep an eye on pit road exits, see who wins the race off of pit road, because this is pretty important to see who starts up front. Dave Payne will win it, with Tanner Tallarico just edging out Tyler Jordan for the second spot. So we will have to see how that shakes on out. But Tanner Tallarico up to P number 2 right now, tied as the biggest mover of the race. Him and Kyle Leisure in the 7th position as Kyle runs right now. We'll have to see how this shakes on out as the lights are extinguished on the iRacing pace car. Dave Payne in the 38 Pinkerton machine will lead us to green flag. Down low, up top will be Tanner Tallarico in the 1, making up the second lane. And these guys are very good buddies, so they'll have to see if they decide to work with each other or maybe stick in their lanes. Only time will tell, as it's 14 laps to go. But don't forget, folks, if we do get some yellows towards the end, we have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. We'll have to see if we use them or not. But this is now about time to start making some moves happen, folks, especially once it's inside of 10 laps to go. It's going to be all push and no hold once we get to that point. As we get a little bit of maybe some Daytona fog over the speedway. Luckily, it's just the far camera shots that get hit by it. But as we can see clearly, the lights are extinguished on the iRacing pace car. We'll be going green here. We'll wait for it to dive down pit road. And then the 38 machine of Dave Payne will have control of this restart. We'll wait for him to fire on off here. And he jumps on the loud pedal. We are back racing here at Daytona. The inside line gets a pretty good start, but I think the outside line sticking right with him. We'll have to see how this works on out here with 13 laps to go left in the race. As the cars head down the back or into turn number 1 and 2 here, they make their way towards the backstretch. Dave Payne leading the way down low. Tanner Tallarico leading the way up top as they continue to try and get things sorted out. It seems like everyone hanging on for the most part. They keep on packing them and stacking them. I don't think anyone... We'll have to see if they try and make a third lane, but right now everyone picking and choosing their lanes. As Dave Payne getting some awesome pushes from Tyler Jordan, the inside line looking very formed up from those first 3 cars. The outside line, a little bit of gap to Nathan Henry, and Devin McDonald almost into the soft wall there, entering turn number 1. We'll have to see if Tyler Jordan jumps to the top. He does. That checks him up. Nathan Henry goes around down low. They stay green as he spins off the track, but they have it yellowed as Nathan Henry makes a bit of contact with those tire barriers down low, but that car still seems to be in one piece at the moment. But we are back under yellow flag here once again at Daytona. As interesting here, folks, Tyler Jordan is being scored the race leader over Dave Payne, so we will have to see how that works on out. And we are back here, folks, at Daytona once again. We are under our 5th yellow of the night here with inside of 10 laps to go. We have Tyler Jordan in the 29 machine. On the time and scoring, it shows him as the 92. Will be leading us to green flag here. Dave Payne been up front all day. He will restart in 2nd. Tanner Tallarico will be restarting in the 3rd position. 4th will be Hayden Swank in that sweet AC Delco machine. And Josiah Millen, we haven't talked too much about him. A little bit of left side damage. He's all the way up into P number 5 right now. As they said, he is the biggest mover of the race so far. A little bit further down, Brett Edwards is in 6th. A rebound night for him as he missed the grid, had to start from pit road. Jerry Cochran Jr. started on pole, elected to take the shotgun challenge. He has to make up 6 spots to get the award for that and get 10 bonus points. Michael Sturgill, we've seen an up and down night from him, involved in some yellows, a lap down, but he has battled back inside the top 10 as they run. The 41 machine makes up 9th, and 10th goes to Lee Campbell in that 27 on time and scoring, or 14 on his car. As the lights go extinguished on the top of the iRacing pace car, we are going green next time by, folks, so make sure you're all settled in, because at this point, inside of 10 laps to go, it's going to be all go and no give. And we see Nathan Henry make it back out there from that last incident. Had to check on up. Got tapped. And we see how easily these cars spin out. He went from that outside lane very quickly to that inside lane into that wall. But that car looking halfway decent as it sits for that Dodge Challenger. So he's going to look to try and get back in this top 10 before this race is over. But up front, we're getting ready to rock and roll. Tyler Jordan leading us to restart number 5 tonight. As the iRacing pace car makes the sharp left-hand turn down pit road. We'll wait for the 29 machine to fire on off. He waits a while. He jumps on it. We are back racing as both lanes pretty even as they head towards turn number 1. The outside lane kind of falling apart, but that inside lane only has 3 cars as well before their big gap. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes on out as we see one car dart from the top side down low. That's a 52 of Brett Edwards. Right now, the outside lane looking pretty weak with only 2 cars up there. They got to try and hang in there tough and not give up any sort of positions to the guys on the inside line. As Hayden Swank giving Dave Payne a heck of a push, but Michael Sturgill coming up through the middle. He's going to try and make it happen. As Dave Payne just able to clear, but Michael Sturgill with the power move. He's all the way up to 4th. Make that 3rd as they head to the start-finish line to have 7 laps to go. Tanner Tallarico also bailed on that inside line. He jumps to the top side as Michael Sturgill looks for the race lead. We were just talking about him, how he was looking to go to the front, and he did it in a hurry, folks. As we'll see what kind of run down the backstretch these lanes can get. Dave Payne in the 38 Pinkerton machine leading down low. Outside of him will be Michael Sturgill in the 90 machine. As this field comes roaring off of turn number 4, everyone side by side till about, I want to say, 12th or 13th. There's one car sideways in the travel. That looked to be the 41 machine of Kyle Lesher, but he somehow saves it, and we keep it all straight for the most part. Maybe Nathan Henry. Nathan Henry involved in this one again. We'll go to the replay and see what happened to bring out the yellow flag as Kyle Lesher already sideways. Maybe some help from a car around him, but everyone reacting to the spinning 41 machine. Nathan Henry getting a little bit of help, but luckily not too much damage for that 59 wheeling machine. As this won't be an attempt at a green-white checkered, but it will be pretty close to one. So we'll have to see how this shakes on out for this field as we get 5 laps to go here as this field is catching the iRacing pace car. Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a moment and chat with the race leader. That would be the 38 machine of Dave Payne. So we'll talk with the driver here. Dave, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here. Alrighty, now we got you, Dave, loud and clear. How is this car? You've been up front, it seems like, all night. Has this latest yellow been a good or a bad thing for you?
Oh, terrible. It's terrible because now we're going to be in a high-pressure green-white checker situation where people are going to suddenly throw caution to the wind, and this is how people die. I'm going to be honest with you. This is how virtual race car drivers die. This exact scenario.
Yeah, Dave. I don't think there will be too much given. I think it's going to be all take here, and I think someone's going to push someone, even though it's impossible to do that with these ARCA cars. What are your thoughts? Just try and keep the wreck behind you as much as you can.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, my plan is just to try and stay in the bottom and mirror
where's
drive.
Sturgill at?
Really, that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't really know. I mean, I noticed that these cars get great runs on the straights, coming out of the corners on the outside. So it really kind of depends on you know, who's back there and who's driving. Sorry, I had to tell those other guys to shut up. You can push with this car. I mean, it's more of a bump than it is a push. It's not like where you can latch onto them and just keep pushing them, keep your foot on the floor. You can kind of bump draft them. I know there's some guys, at least a row or two back, that know how to do that pretty well. So, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens here.
And then, Dave, I was going to ask you about the guy starting out your outside, Michael Sturgill. You know, he was pretty good, won that big $5,000 to win race here at Daytona. Not in these cars, but, you know, he knows what he's doing. But looks like he's having some sort of issue. I don't know if he's going to be out here. So this might change up your plan totally once again here, Dave.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to close my eyes, put my foot on the floor, and turn left. That's my plan right now.
There you go. Sounds like a good plan for you, Dave. Well, best of luck to you. You've had a strong race so far. Let's hope you can finish it off strong and be talking to me here in a few laps.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, folks. That was our driver leading the race so far. But yeah, it looks like Michael Sturgill, once again, some sort of issues from his PC or something, drops out of another race. Heartbreaking for him. Made his way all the way up to second. Definitely was going to be a contender for this win. So now that will line up Dave Payne down low, Tyler Jordan up top. So this will, in fact, be attempt number 1 for a green-white checkered. We'll have to see how this shakes on out, as we got Donald cheering on the 40, 41, and the 04 machine. So we'll have to see how those guys can go as that 40 machine of Josiah all the way up to 4th position here. He's looking pretty good, as those runs on this outside line has been very good. We'll have to keep an eye on him. As once again, folks, the lights are extinguished on the iRacing pace car. We are going green this time by. We'll wait for it to dive down pit road. Then we'll have Dave Payne once again be leading this restart. He's got Tanner Tallarico behind him. Hayden Swank behind Tanner. Up top will be Tyler Jordan with Josiah Millen and Jerry Cochran III. We'll have to see how this shakes out, as attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered is about to be underway, as we'll wait for Dave Payne to fire on off. He's going to try and time it with Tanner Tallarico. They get on the loud pedal at the same exact time. That inside line very well formed up, as we get popsicle sticks up in the air for attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered. That inside line much more formed up than that high side. We see Jerry Cochran III jump down low. Brett Edwards, will try and jump to the top side. He will do that. So the inside line, much more momentum, but the outside line doesn't need as many cars to carry that speed off these corners. Where they get killed is in these corners, though. So through the corners, the outside line's not where it's at, but down these straightaways, it definitely is. They carry a lot of momentum compared to that inside line. They can stay in the throttle a lot longer, not have to feather it. As Tanner Tallarico goes sideways here, he goes down into the grass. Not sure, down pit road. He keeps that thing straight, but we stay green flag as Tyler Jordan takes the race lead up top with Josiah pushing him down low. Dave Payne now tries to hang on with Hayden Swank on his back bumper. We are white flag, so next flag will end this race. They're racing back to the start finish line. We'll have to see how these drivers can push maybe just slightly down this backstretch, but Tyler Jordan looks like he has a little bit of an advantage. We'll have to see how they make it through this final corner, though, if they can keep it. As we see Devin McDonald try and go through hard contact into the wall. They're wrecking big. We got to keep our eyes on the finish, though, as Dave Payne tries to make it happen. Hayden Swank looking low. This will let Tyler Jordan get it, He will do it as photo finish behind, and we are wrecking after the start finish line. We're not done tearing up race cars. As Tyler Jordan gets it done in his ASRC, I want to say debut, at least in the Sportsman series. Hayden Swink will bring it home second, Josiah Millen third, Dave Payne fourth, and Jerry Cochran the third will round out the top 5. But we'll be talking to the top 3 here on the other side, so don't go anywhere, folks. As we see the 29 machine burning it down for the fans at home, we're going to go to commercial break, and on the other side, we'll be talking to these drivers and see what they thought of that crazy finish, because once again, here at Daytona, produces another crazy finish from the ASRC Sportsman Series. We'll be right back on the other side.
God, I should have stayed.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here on the other side, and we'll be talking to our third place finisher. That would be the 40 machine of Josiah Millen. So we'll get him here in the booth and get his reaction to that finish. Josiah, it's Brett the Jet in the booth here. Do you got a copy?
I got a copy.
Alrighty, man. What a finish. What was going through your mind that last lap, especially with all unfolding there?
Well, I knew it was going to be tough restarting fourth on that last restart, so my main focus actually was to kind of push Tyler to the front and try to maybe get a run on the inside, come off of 4, but I was looking for the win, but I'll take a third tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome to see from you. I want to say this is your first Sportsman start for us, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but what a way to do it, finishing third here tonight with this competition. And ultimately, you pushed Tyler to the win, so I'm sure he's going to have some good praise for you. How was that car? We saw a little bit of door damage, and then, of course, after the finish, that thing heavily damaged.
Yeah, so this is my first Sportsman race with you guys. I did run the dirt series and wasn't quite able to finish that out, but yeah, I mean, you guys put on an awesome show here with Dave, Tanner, obviously you, Brett, and Andrew. So I figured I'd come out and check out the Sportsman series, but yeah, I got caught up in a couple wrecks early. Luckily, this car is pretty sustainable to damage, so I was able to get that repaired, and I was kind of utilizing the outside to my advantage. But it got me to the end, and yeah, I was going for the win, but I knew it was going to be tough to get to the inside without wrecking everyone coming to the checkered.
Yeah, definitely from that fourth position, always a very tough scenario. You kind of hope that something dramatic unfolds in front of you can sneak on through. Not quite the case this time. But Josiah, congrats on the podium here. Hopefully we'll be seeing you some more in the future.
Yeah, with a good finish like that, I think I got to keep it going. So yeah, you'll see me back.
Awesome stuff. Well, before we let you go and go celebrate this podium finish for you, I'll hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this crew.
I got to thank my teammates for tonight, Danny Valenzuela and Kyle Lesher. Keep me calm, cool and collective, and Turn 3 Racing Network for putting this on. and the Turn 3 Racing Network Posse Boys. That's about all I got for now.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff from you, Josiah. I can't wait to see what you have more in store for us, because tonight was definitely entertaining. So hopefully see you some more out here on track, and you have yourself a great rest of the night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was our third place finisher. Now we'll dial up our second place finisher, that being the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Hayden, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet here in the booth.
Hey, Brett, I got you.
Alrighty, Hayden. Well, let's run it back from that green-white checkered. Start saying what you're seeing and how it unfolded for you, because came up oh so close here with the runner-up finish here tonight.
Yeah. So, like, I kind of knew these cars were kind of really unloaded, so there really wasn't a whole lot of opportunities for more than a bump all night. But I had Tanner and I had David in front of me, and I just kind of told myself, I'm like, all right, I cannot lift here. Like, we're gonna really have to push this inside, like, all the way, because on the previous restart, when I got like kind of held up on the outside, the inside lev was able to beat us by doing that. And I hate that I moved Tanner like that. I obviously did not mean to do that, but we were just running hard, trying to make just a dash for the win there. I probably could have pushed David to the win if I didn't get greedy and want the win myself, and make it 3 wide coming to the line. But no, still a really good race. Really enjoyed running the series with the ASRC, and I'm looking forward to a really solid season.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff from you, Hayden. We look forward to having you for the season, as you could definitely be a title contender when the dust finally settles for season number 3. Hayden, looking forward throughout the season. A little bit shorter season this season, no playoffs or anything like that. What are the expectations for you?
I think the expectations right now, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have expectations, but I mean, I'm definitely going to try do everything I can to win a championship.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff. Before we let you go, I got to ask about the paint scheme. I saw a little bit on social media. You're running a super late model with those similar paint schemes, so I'm sure you got some more insight for these fans at home.
Yeah. So I race late model stock cars on the Cars Tour. And during our throwback week, we decided to throw back to Clint Boyer's 2005 AC Delco Busch Series paint scheme. It was a really cool scheme to see come together. Unfortunately, we got caught up in some incidents in real life and really couldn't give it a good run. So I thought I'd give it one final ride for the year tonight in the sim and send it off in a little bit better fashion. And I think we did that tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Sadly, one spot away from, the ultimate, but a runner-up finish, nothing to laugh at, especially with the competitors here tonight. So, Hayden, before we let you go and celebrate, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 35 team.
Absolutely. I want to thank the American Sim Racing Club for putting it on an awesome show, awesome event as usual. And I want to thank my sponsors, Overtime, General Motors, AC Delco, GM Genuine Parts, and everybody that helps me, in this car, the real car, all the cars. So always a good time.
Alrighty, Hayden. Well, I look forward to talking to you more throughout the season. You have yourself a great rest of the night, and see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, that was our runner-up finisher, Hayden Swank. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and try and get a word with our winner here. That would be the 29 machine of Tyler Jordan. Tyler, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, man. Well, let me be the first. I'm sure I'm not the first already to say it, but congratulations on your first ASRC Sportsman win here tonight. How you doing? How was this car? And man, that had to be a stressful green-white checker there.
Yeah, these cars are definitely a handful. I definitely like the top better. I kind of wish I restarted third, but I restarted second, and it actually worked out in my favor.
Yeah, that top That top side there, Tyler, definitely seemed to be the lane to be in, especially at the end when it was all about what line could carry more momentum. And then when you saw, let's say, Tanner Tallarico spinning off to that inside, did you get a little bit of sigh of relief? Like, oh, man, that inside line's kind of falling apart down there?
I honestly didn't even see him spin, so kind of just looking forward and hoping for big pushes. And that's exactly what Josiah did, so I can't thank him enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, were you ever a little bit about going with Josiah? Did you ever see him around? Did you ever work with him too much tonight, or was that last restart like, hey, man, we're in this position, we got to go, and this is the time to do it?
Yeah, it was really just the last restart. I mean, I got spun early, kind of going for the lead, took some damage, and kind of just rode getting back up through the pack, and towards the end, I was up there.
Gotcha. Well, awesome stuff from you, Tyler. Hopefully, maybe looking forward, what are your plans for this season? Hopefully planning to race the whole thing, as well as definitely now with this win, in title contention here early.
Yeah, I definitely want to try to run out the whole season. I think it'd be fun. It's a good, fun league. And see what happens, I guess.
Alrighty, well, I love to hear that from the booth here, Tyler. But before we let you go and celebrate down in victory lane for the big win, of course, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank here tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, I got to thank Rat Designs, TJR, Turn 3 Racing Network, and American Sim for putting all this on.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Tyler. I look forward to hopefully talking to you some more throughout the season. You have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll catch you here next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. That was our race winner, Tyler Jordan, in the 29 or 92 machine, depending on the time and scoring. So now we'll run through tonight's finishing order and get ready to wrap things on up. So race number 1 is concluded here in the books for Season 3 of the American Sim Racing Club Sportsman Series. Tyler Jordan in the 92 machine walks away with tonight's big victory. Hayden Swank in the 35 brings it home second. Third goes to Josiah Millen in the 40. Fourth is Dave Payton in the 38, and rounding out the top 5, Jerry Cochran the third in the 81 machine. Lee Campbell brings it home in 6th. Jerry Cochran Jr. in 7th. John DeMeester with the return brings it back in the top 10, finishing in 8th. Danny Valenzuela in the 04 machine brings it home 9th. A very solid start for his season. John Sanu, last season's Blue Division champion, rounds out the top 10. 11th goes to Nathan Henry. We saw him struggling there at the end with being caught up in a lot of incidents. Still rebounds to 11th. John Kane finishes in 12th. 13th goes to Brett Edwards. Tanner Tallarico with that heartbreak finishes in 14th. Kyle Lesher finishes in 15th. Devin McDonald 16th. Mike Sturgill 17th. Kyle Munson in 18th. And rounding out the field for tonight will be Brian Wilderson in the 19th position. So, folks, hopefully everyone had a great time. We'll be back same place, same time, different track, of course, for race number 2 for the Sportsman Series. Got to thank each and everyone of the live viewers tuning on in with me. Got to give a shout out to Donald, Roger, and Josiah jumping in the chat. Got to appreciate every single one of you guys. Of course, all the replay viewers that tune in at a later time. And, of course, all the Turn 3 fans, all the Brett the Jet fans out there, and, of course, all the American Sim Racing Club fans cheering on their favorite drivers. I've been Brett the Jet here in the booth for Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check us out throughout the week. We're broadcasting 6 nights a week, so be sure to get your race fix in with anything you could want. So, folks, have a good one. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next week here. So, take care. And remember, just flew by you. Have a good one.